Hello students, hope all of you are fine. So dear children, we are doing the lesson biomolecules. In our previous video, we have discussed general properties of protein and characteristic of protein, and today we will classify the proteins structures, okay, that is organization of the protein, or we can say the level of structure of the proteins. Under this, first we are going to discuss about the primary structure, okay. You can see the primary structure. Now this include, okay, primary structure includes number of polypeptide, number and sequence of amino acid in each polypeptide. It is description of basic structure of a protein. Now the later is determined, that is polypeptide is determined genetically by the DNA through transcription and translation. Specific amino acid determine the place where polypeptide are to bend or fold and where the different length will be attracted to each other. The distance between two adjacent peptide bond is about 0.35 nanometer. Conventionally, the left end of the protein primary structure, okay, is represented by first amino acid N, while the right end is represented by the last amino acid C. N and C you can see in the structure of the protein. Now secondary structure. Secondary structure is development of new steric relationship of amino acid present in the linear sequence inside the polypeptide. Some of the new relationship are for regular nature and give periodicity to the structure. There are three types of secondary structures, that is alpha helix, beta helix and collagen. The alpha and beta terms simply designate the first and second type of the secondary structure discovered in the protein. In alpha helix, the polypeptide chain is coiled spirally, generally in right-handed manner. At place, the helix is less regular, forming random coil. The helix is stabilized by hydrogen bond between oxygen of carboxylic group, that is CO group, of one amino acid group and NH group of the next fourth amino acid residue. Actually, all the main chain, that is the CO and NH group, are hydrogen bonded. Alpha helical coil secondary structure is found in the several protein, for example keratin, hair, okay, myosin, anthropomyosin in case of muscle, epidermin in case of the skin, and fibrin or blood clot in the two or more polypeptide can further coil around each other to form cable. This give helical strand. The in beta pleated secondary structure, two or more polypeptide chain get interconnected by hydrogen bond. You can see the alpha helix and the beta pleated. In collagen, most abundant protein in our body, Ramchandran in 1954 discovered that there are generally three strands or polypeptide coiled around one another. The coil is strengthened by the establishment of hydrogen bond between the NH group of the glycine residue to each strand with the CO group of other two strands. There is also a locking effect with the help of proline and hydroxyproline residues. Now, next we come to the tertiary protein or tertiary structure. There is bending and folding of various type of forms, spheres, rod or fiber. It is further being new steric relationship of amino acids, especially those which are far apart in the linear sequence. The active site, that is polar side chain of the protein, are often brought towards the surface. Certain other side chains, for example hydrophobic, are brought to the interior of the protein. Tertiary structure is stabilized by several types of bond, hydrogen bond, ionic bonds, van der Waals interaction, covalent bond, hydrophobic bonds. Tertiary structure give the protein a three-dimensional conformation. Okay, the protein structure, in protein structure, covalent bond are strongest. They are of two types, that is peptide bond and SS or disulfide bonds. Ionic bonds are electrostatic bonds occur due to attractive force between the oppositely charged ionized group. For example, NH3 plus and COO minus. Hydrogen bond developed due to sharing of hydrogen ion or protein by two electronegative atoms. Van der Waals interaction developed with charge fluctuation between two closely placed groups, that is CH2OH and CH2OH. Hydrophobic bond is formed between the two non-polar groups. It helps in excluding water in that area and increasing the compaction. The bond required to form tertiary structure can be easily broken by high energy radiation, high temperature, drastic change in the pH and salt of heavy metals. The process of degrading the tertiary structure is known as denaturation. Protein can also be precipitated or coagulated, okay, by several chemicals and low temperature. In some cases, removal of denaturing agent causes re-establishment of bonds required for maintenance of tertiary structure. The phenomena is known as the renaturation. Now let's come to the tertiary or quaternary structure. Okay, now this is found only in multimeric protein. Each polypeptide develop its own tertiary structure and function as subunit of the protein. Different subunit chain fit or pack together to give the conformation. For example, hemoglobin, that is 4 polypeptide, 2 alpha and 2 beta. Now let's discuss properties. Variety. There are thousands of protein present in each organism. This large variety is due to specific arrangement of amino acid in their chain. For example, 100 amino acid can form 20 to the power 100 types of polypeptide. Specificity. Each species has certain specific protein not found in others. Closely related species share several common proteins. Number of common protein decreases with the increase in dissimilarity between the species. The principle is used in bringing out evolutionary relationship among various group of plants and animals. Large size molecules. Protein are large size molecules with a minimum molecular weight of 4500 to maximum molecular weight of about 46 lakh. Okay, then colloids. Being large size, many protein function as colloid and form colloidal solution. Reactivity due to intra-chain and interchain bonding and folding. A protein comes to have particular surface configuration with specific reactive group. This specificity provides functional diversity to the protein for performing different cellular activities. Enzyme is specific due to their proteinaceous nature. Antibodies are complex glycoprotein which attach to the particular pathogen and their toxin for their immobilization. Certain bacterial toxins which affect specific tissue or organ are also proteins. Similarly, membrane-based protein have reactive site for certain nutrients. Then permeation. Cell membrane do not allow permeation to the protein. They can, however, pass outward and inwardly through exocytosis and endocytosis. Normally, every cell synthesizes its own protein from amino acid. Amphoteric nature of the protein. Like amino acid, protein are amphoteric. Denaturation. Functional three-dimensional form of protein is called native state. The state is maintained by specific bond that form its quaternary, that is the 4 degree, and tertiary, that is 3 degree, and secondary, that is 2 degree structures. Okay, then these bonds are easily broken by high temperature, high energy radiation, soap, disinfectants, detergents, alcohol, etc. The phenomenon is called denaturation. Now next we have is the reaction of the proteins. In aqueous medium, a protein possesses both cationic and anionic group. There are several of such groups on same molecules. A chemical like protein carrying both positive and negative charge is called amphoteric. Ionization of cationic or anionic group depend on pH of the medium. At a specific pH, protein may be electrically neutral because the number of positive charge is exactly balanced by the number of negative charge. This pH is known as isoelectric point. At physiological pH of 7.4, a protein may have more of the negative charges. Such proteins are called basic proteins. They are rich in basic amino acid like lysine and arginine. Histones associated with DNA are basic proteins. Acidic proteins have more of the positive charges. They are rich in acidic amino acid like aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Most of the blood proteins are acidic in nature. There is a third category of neutral protein which have their isoelectric point at 7.4 pH. Now let's discuss types of the protein. So we'll discuss types of protein on different bases. So first let's discuss the type of protein based on the shape. Depending upon their shape, proteins are divided into two categories, that is fibrous and globular. Fibrous proteins are the thread-like proteins which may occur singly or in group. They are tough, non-enzymatic and structural proteins. Fibrous protein generally possess secondary structure. They are insoluble in water. Keratin of skin and hair is such a fibrous protein. Some of the fibrous protein are contractile, for example myosin of the muscle and elastin of the connective tissue. Globular protein, they are rounded in the outline. Contractibility is absent. Final structure is tertiary or quaternary. Globular protein may be enzymatic or non-enzymatic. Smaller globular proteins are mostly soluble in water. They are not coagulated by heat. For example, histone. Water solubility decreases but heat coagulability increases with the increase in the size of globular proteins. Egg albumins, serum, globulins and glutalines, for example wheat, rice, are of large globular protein which get coagulated by the heat. Now let's discuss types of protein based on the functions. Okay, so based on functions there are three types of protein. Okay, so depending upon the function, protein are classified into enzymatic and non-enzymatic types. Non-enzymatic protein may be structural, storage, protective, hormonal, transport type. Enzymatic proteins are the proteins which function as enzyme either directly, that is amylase, pepsin, or in conjugation with non-protein part called cofactor, for example dehydrogenases. Enzymatic proteins are usually globular in shape. Structural or protoplasmic protein, they form part of cellular structure and their products, for example colloidal complex of protoplasm, cell membrane, contractile proteins, structural proteins of hair and nails. In shape, structural protein can be globular or fibrous. Reserve or storage proteins, they occur as food reserve mostly in seed, eggs or milk. Storage proteins are usually globular. Depending upon their solubility, reserve proteins are of four types, that is albumins, globulins, prolamins, and glutamines. Now, dear student, let's discuss the type of proteins based on the constitution. On the basis of their constitution, the proteins are of three types: simple, conjugated, and derived. So, simple proteins are made up of amino acids only. Additional non-amino group are absent. For example, histone, keratin. Next we have is conjugated protein. The proteins have non-amino prosthetic group. Depending upon the type of prosthetic group, conjugated proteins are of several types. Okay, it can be nucleoprotein, it can be chromoprotein, okay, it can be metalloprotein or glycoprotein or mucoprotein. Okay, now next we have is derived protein. Okay, so derived protein, they are got from the proteins through denaturation, coagulation, and breakdown. For example, metaprotein, proteases, fibrin. Precursor of fibrin is an elongated but asymmetric soluble plasma protein called the fibrinogen. Now next we will discuss the type of protein based on the quality. Now complete protein and incomplete proteins, okay, they are the two types based on the quality. They are protein which contain all the essential amino acids required by humans. For example, milk, egg, meat, fish, soya also possess a nearly complete protein. Complete protein are also called the first class proteins. Incomplete proteins, they are proteins which lack one or more essential amino acid. Most of the plant proteins are incomplete proteins. Plant proteins being incomplete, they are also called second class proteins. Now let's discuss functions of the protein. So proteins, they are protective structures. Fibrous protein like keratin form external protective structure of animals like nail, hooves, scale, hair, feathers, horny layer of skin, etc. Silkworm protect themselves in the cocoon stage by silk fibers. The latter are built up, that means silk fibers, they are made of protein fibrion. Spider webs are also built of the protein. Defense protein, immunoglobulins or antibodies are the protein produced by the lymphocytes. They are meant for recognizing and neutralizing foreign proteins, toxins, viruses, and other pathogens. Toxin, they are both defensive and offensive protein produced by certain animals, bacteria, and some plants. For example, snake venom, ricin of castor, bacterial toxin, etc. Structural proteins, protein constitute more than 50% of dry weight of the protoplast. They take part in formation of colloidal complex of the protoplast, cell organelles, cell membrane, and cell products. Many protein form supporting structures, for example, elastin of ligament, collagen of the tendon, cartilage, bone, and connective tissue. Along with proteoglycans, the two above mentioned fibrous proteins form a major components of connective tissue. Next is the compatibility of the proteins. Pollen grains possess specific protein in their walls for compatibility incompatibility reaction with the stigma during the pollination. Next is contractile protein. Actin and myosins are fibrous protein which form the contractile system of the muscle. Contractile system is basically made of protein actin, but association with myosin is essential for the contraction. Next is microtubules. They are unbranched hollow submicroscopic tubules which form the structural material of cilia, flagella, basal body, centrioles, and spindle apparatus. Microtubules are built of the protofilaments formed of two related proteins, that is alpha and beta tubulins. Now P protein, it is a special protein present in sieve tube element. The protein is vibratile and is believed to be actively participate in the transport of nutrients. Enzymes, there are over 2000 enzymes except a few. All other are built of proteins alone or in conjugation with some non-protein material called the cofactors. Enzyme catalyze all the chemical reactions that occur in the living world. For example, pepsin, trypsin, ribonuclease, and then flavoprotein, etc. Transport proteins, that is, or the carrier proteins. Hemoglobin of RBCs transport oxygen from lungs to different part of the body. Myoglobin of the muscle store oxygen. Alpha globulin of the blood carries the thyroxine and bilirubin. Beta globulin transport vitamins A, D, and cholesterol and ions. Albumin carries calcium and fatty acids. A number of carrier protein occur in the cell membrane for transporting specific material to inside. For example, glucose, amino acids. Next we have is the storage proteins. Okay, now they occur in milk, eggs, and seeds of seeds, okay, to nourish the young ones. Uh, Important protein of the milk is casein. Major protein of egg white is oval of albumin, while it is glutatine in the cereals. In cereal, the protein present is glutatine. Iron storing protein commonly found in animal tissue is ferritin. Now, protein having all the essential amino acids are called first class proteins, as we discussed earlier. Next is receptor proteins. They occur in the external surface of the cell membrane. The protein bind to the specific information molecule like hormones and mediate in the cellular effects genetically through the formation of either CAMP or specific activator. The receptor are specific for different hormones. For example, adrenaline receptor, beta adrenaline receptor, that is norepinephrine receptor. Next we have is protein buffers. The polar side chain of protein can combine with excess acid and base. This help in keeping the pH constant. Hormone. Some hormones are proteinaceous, for example, insulin that regulate the sugar metabolism, growth hormone of the pituitary, that is also known as the GH, parathyroid hormone, that is parathormone, which regulate calcium and phosphate transport. Now next we have is the repressor. Okay, most of the repressor of the genes are proteinaceous in nature. They regulate gene action. Next we have is sweet proteins. Monaline from the Diaxorecythium, okay, cumini C, okay, then thaumatin, okay. Next we have brazine, okay. These are the sweetest chemicals which are natural proteins. They are some 2000 times as sweet as sugar. There they can be used as boon to the diabetic patient since they are non-fattening, non-caloric, and non-toxic sweeteners. That means the person who is suffering from diabetes, they can take these sweet proteins. Blood coagulating proteins, fibrinogen and thrombin prevent blood loss from the injured vessels by causing the clotting of the blood. Next is antibodies. They are formed from the proteins. Visual pigments like rhodopsin and iodopsins are protein pigments respectively present in the rods. Rhodopsin in the rods and iodopsin in the cones of the retina. They take part in perception of the images. Now mucoproteins, they are produced by saliva glands or salivary gland and mucus gland of the alimentary canal. Mucoprotein form mucus. Mucus protect the lining layer of the alimentary canal from the friction and digestive juices. For example, gastric mucoprotein is resistant to the pepsin digestion. Other proteins, that is nucleoproteins, are the protein associated with the nucleic acid. Then human memory is believed to be stored in the specific protein called memory proteins. Protein being multivalent, the macromolecules can carry on a number of chemical reaction. So this was about the protein, and in next video we'll discuss about the nucleotides. Till then, take care. Bye bye.